The top stories. Lagos director commits suicide in his home in Abeokuta. Curfew imposed on Aba as troops clash with hip-hop supporters in Umaya. Police ID warns hate speech and fake news peddlers risk jail time and 25 million naira fine. Buhari opens Africa's largest hatchery in Kaduna, says Nigeria must feed itself. And Brazil president accuses judiciary of attempts to destroy its reputation. The EU says Europe is regaining momentum. Good evening, I am Kunle. Alaye bringing you the news in detail shortly. A senior Lagos State civil servant, Oludare Raymond, has committed suicide by hanging himself in a room in his house in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The late officer, who is a director in Lagos State Ministry of Youth, was found by his son hanging in the room in his home at the Unity Estate, Phase 2 at Lonagun Artis of Abeokuta on Monday. His son recalls that the late director hung himself after administering malaria drug on him and retired to his room on Monday evening. The late director, according to the son, was later found hanging on the ceiling with traditional ashoke tied to his neck. His body had been deposited at the morgue of State Hospital in Abeokuta. Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Police Zone 2 Command, comprising of Ogun and Lagos State, Adamu Ibrahim, has asked Ogun State government to constitute a task force team to stop land grabbing in the state. The proposed task force, according to the police chief, will be assigned to arresting land grabbers under the Ogun State Anti-Land Grabbing Law introduced last November. Ibrahim, who made the call during the county's visits to Governor Kunle at the governor's office, Okimoso Abeokuta, says the implementation of a similar law by task force has forced most of the land grabbers to relocate to Ogun State. He also urges the governor to assist the state police command with the procurement of a gunboat to fight crime on waterways. In his response, Governor Kunle promised to set up the task force and procure the gunboat to further fight crime in the state. The governor also renewed his demand for more police area commands in the state to cope with the rising population in Ogun State. Ogun State Executive Council has approved the appointment of Prince Babatunde Adewale Ajayi from Torunbowa ruling house as the new Akaribo and paramount ruler of Remo land. Prince Ajayi was appointed by the Kingmaker to fill the vacant stool on August 31st, following the demise of Oba Michael Adeni Ishunariwo on July 23, 2016. Secretary to the state government, Taiwo Adeoluwa, in a statement, charged the new monarch to bring his wealth of experience as an accomplished professional to bear in his new role. Abia state government has imposed a curfew on the commercial city of Aba following tension created by clashes in Umaya between members of the indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB) and troops deployed for the Operation Python Dance in the southeast region. Governor Okezo Ikpeazu in a statement says the curfew will last between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The governor says the special military operation is designed to curb kidnapping, armed banditry, assassination, and separatist agitation in the southeast region. Okeze, however, says while the state government respects the constitutional right of Nigerian Army to perform its duties, it should follow the standard engagement with civilian population. Meanwhile, a detachment of troops have been deployed to Afaruku in Umaya, the Abia state capital, where leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has his country home. The troops arrived in the Ragzis of Umaya with several armored personnel carriers 2 days after some members of IPOB clashed with soldiers on patrol in the area. The presence of the troops caused panic in the area as traders hurriedly closed their shops. In another development, Southeast State Governors Forum has set up a committee to investigate the Sunday clashes between soldiers and members of the indigenous of Biafra in Umaya, the Abia state capital. The governors, in a statement by his Director of Media and Communication, Michael Uda, dismissed reports on the social media that it condemns the alleged attack on the country home of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. The forum says the committee will submit its report on September 15th, while it consults with major stakeholders in the region, including the military, to prevent more of such clashes. Senate Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Shehu Sani has asked political elite to stop mounting pressure on President Muhammadu Buhari to seek re-election in 2019. Sani says that Buhari is old enough and has been in politics and government for a longer period and will know what to do at the right time on the 2019 presidential race. Governor Nezo El-Rufai last week had said that some APC state governors and ministers had constituted themselves into a committee to ensure that Buhari contests the 2019 presidential poll. Senator Sani on his Twitter handle says, although Nigeria still need more of President Muhammadu Buhari's service, only Buhari can decide if he is willing and fit to provide more services or not. Besides, the senator expresses concern over the political elite who he accused of seeking Buhari re-election for their own political survival and relevance. To General of Police Ibrahim Idris says 21,084 policemen are to be deployed to Anambra State ahead of the November 28 governorship poll. Idris, who announces the planned deployment at the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room Dialogue session in Abuja, explains that they will rid the state of criminal elements before the poll. 17,320 of the policemen, according to the police IG, will man 4,330 polling units and 280 collation centers across the state. The police chief also says 2,484 policemen will be deployed to 440 major streets in the state. Indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has threatened to prevent the November 28 poll from taking place. Force headquarters has warned that people transmitting hate speeches and fake news through internet and other media platforms risk heavy penalties if caught. Inspector General Police Ibrahim Idris, who issued the warning lists the penalties as including jail terms and 25 million naira fine. The police chief, who spoke on the issue at a roundtable meeting with online news publishers and related social media users in Abuja, says the penalties are stipulated in the cybercrime law enacted in the year 2015. He asks members of the public to familiarize themselves with the Act, particularly Section 2.4 and Section 2.6. You are still listening to the World News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and the sport news. Please do stay with us. The president, Michel Temer, has accused his country's judiciary of using allegations of corruption to destroy its reputations. Mr. Temer's statements came just hours before his Supreme Court justice authorized a new corruption investigation into the president. The president, like dozens of other Brazilian politicians, is already implicated in operation of car wash, and he has denied all accusations of corruption. The biggest investigations of all is known as Operation Car Wash, said to involve bribes at the highest level. Among those implicated in the 3-year investigation are 2 former presidents. Supreme Court Justice Roberto Barroso decided on Tuesday investigators could probe Mr. Temer's link to corruption allegations surrounding a decree regulating powers that the president signed. European Commission says the wind is back in Europe's sails. President Jean-Claude Juncker, in his annual State of the Union address, told the European Parliament there was a window of opportunity to build a stronger, more united union. Mr. Juncker said the EU had made economic strides in the years since his last such address, but he called for the union to seize the momentum and agree new trade deals. Trade talks should open with Australia and New Zealand, he said, and be completed by late 2019. Mr. Juncker looked forward to the European Union beyond the UK's departure on 29 March 2019, where membership of the banking union, Eurozone, and Schengen border-free zone will be standard. He accused Turkey of distancing itself from the EU and called on the government in Ankara to let our journalists go and to stop personal attacks on European leaders. Up next is business news. President Muhammadu Buhari has said that Nigerians must grow what they eat in order to reduce the growing dependence of the country on imported foods. Buhari gives the charge while commissioning Africa's largest hatchery and feed mill plant, constructed by Olam Grains in Kaduna. at the cost of 150 million US dollars. The project, according to the president, will enable Nigeria to have access to food, better life, and better hope for the future, while advising the company to patronize local maize producers. The 150 million US dollars plant has the capacity to hatch 1.6 million day-old chicken weekly, process 180,000 metric tons of corn, and 75,000 metric tons of soybeans for the production of 360,000 metric tons of animal feeds yearly. Finally, in the world news is sport news. Former Nigerian international Nduka Ubadi says the Super Eagles are the team to beat at the ongoing 2017 WAFU Cup of Nations in Ghana. The Super Eagles defeated Sierra Leone 2-0 in their first match of the tournament thanks to 2 goals from Moses Okoro and Moses Peter at Cape Coast Stadium on Monday. Ubadi feels that Nigeria's recent performance in the 4-0 victory over Cameroon in the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifier in Uyo was enough boost to the Super Eagles squad at the WAFU Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles have qualified for the tournament's group stage contest that will see 8 teams divided into 2 groups of 4 teams. Nigeria won the 2010 WAFU Cup of Nations title as tournament host when they defeated Senegal 2-0 in the final at the MQ Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta. That was the world news at 5, but just before we go, the major stories once again. Lagos State Director commits suicide in his home in Abeokuta. Curfew imposed on Aba as troops clash with IPOB supporters in Umaya. Liz IG warns hate speech and fake news peddlers risk J10 and 25 million naira fine. Buhari opens Africa's largest archery in Kaduna, says Nigeria must feed itself. On the foreign scene, reported that Brazil president accuses judiciary of attempts to destroy his reputation. And the EU says Europe is regaining momentum. For more stories and to listen to us live, you can log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Kunle. Alaye. Good evening.